You're standing in line. 30 seconds pass. You reach for your phone. Not because you need it, just because waiting feels unbearable. But the real answer is far stranger than a bad habit. Your discomfort with boredom isn't a flaw in your character. It's a survival alarm. One that's been going off inside your skull for millions of years, long before phones, long before clocks, long before anyone had a reason to be productive. Think about what boredom actually feels like. A low hum of restlessness. A pressure to do something. Anything. An itch you can't quite scratch. Now imagine you're not standing in a grocery line. Imagine you're standing in tall grass on the savannah 60,000 years ago. Stillness for your ancestors was not peaceful. Stillness meant something was wrong. A resting body burns fewer calories, but a resting mind stops scanning. It stops checking the tree line. It stops listening for the snap of a branch that doesn't belong. Anthropologist Sarah Hrdy has written extensively about how early human survival depended on constant social and environmental vigilance. Your ancestors who could sit quietly and feel nothing, who could switch off entirely, were the ones who got eaten. So evolution did something clever. It made stillness feel bad. Not painful, not dangerous, just uncomfortable enough that you'd want to move, explore, fidget, scan the horizon, talk to someone, do anything other than nothing. That discomfort is boredom, and it worked exactly as designed for a very long time. Here's where it gets strange. For most of human history, boredom was rare. Not because life was exciting, but because life was full. Foraging took hours. Tool-making took focus. Social bonds took maintenance, constant maintenance, because your survival depended on the people around you liking you. There was always a next task. A fire to tend, a child to watch, a tool to repair. Idle moments existed, but they were short, and they were usually filled with something your brain considered useful. Looking around, listening, talking, planning. Psychologist Erin Westgate has studied what makes boredom feel so aversive, and her research points to a simple idea. Boredom isn't about having nothing to do. It's about having nothing meaningful to do. Your brain doesn't just want stimulation. It wants stimulation that matters. And for almost all of human history, nearly everything you did mattered. Every action was connected to staying alive, staying fed, staying part of the group. Now, fast forward to today. You have more stimulation available in your pocket than your entire ancestral village had access to in a lifetime. Videos, games, messages, an infinite scroll of other people's lives. So why does boredom still feel so unbearable? Shouldn't all this stimulation have cured it? This is the twist almost nobody talks about. The stimulation cured the symptom, but it starved the cause. Your brain isn't just asking for input. It's asking for a reason. A task that connects to something real. Something that affects your actual life, your actual relationships, your actual survival. Scrolling gives your brain motion, color, sound, novelty, all the surface level signals it evolved to crave. But underneath, something is missing. None of it requires anything from you. None of it changes anything. Your brain registers the activity, but it doesn't register the meaning, so the restlessness doesn't go away. It just gets quieter for a moment, then comes back louder. Researcher John Eastwood, who has spent years studying the psychology of boredom, describes it less as nothing to do and more as a mismatch. A mismatch between the mental engagement you're craving and the mental engagement you're actually getting. Scrolling fills the gap in attention. It does nothing for the gap in purpose. And that gap in purpose is exactly what your ancestors almost never had to deal with. Every glance at the horizon was purposeful. Every conversation strengthened a bond that could one day save your life. Every hour of foraging brought you closer to food. Meaning wasn't something you had to search for. It was built into the structure of the day. Today, meaning is optional. You can go an entire day without doing a single thing that feels like it matters and still feel busy the whole time. That's the trap. Your brain can't tell the difference between being busy and being engaged in something that counts. But it can feel the difference, and that feeling is boredom, even when your schedule is full. Here's the part that should change how you see those restless moments. Boredom isn't your enemy. It's not a glitch, and it's not laziness. It's one of the oldest signals your brain has. A signal that originally meant Pay attention to your surroundings because something here might matter. When you feel that itch to pick up your phone during a quiet moment, that itch is ancient. It's the same circuitry that once made a person scan the grass for movement or turn toward a friend to start a conversation that might matter later. The circuitry hasn't changed, only the world around it has. So what do you do with that? You don't need to eliminate boredom. You probably couldn't if you tried, and evolution clearly didn't intend for you to. But you can start noticing what your brain is actually asking for in those moments. Not more stimulation, more connection, more purpose. Something that links back to your actual life, even in a small way. A real conversation instead of a notification. A walk where you notice your surroundings instead of your screen. A task that produces something, even something small, instead of consuming something endless. These aren't productivity tips. They're closer to the original conditions your brain was built for. So tonight, when you're standing in line and that restless itch creeps in, pause for a second before reaching for your phone. That itch isn't a flaw. It's a message from somewhere very old, still trying to keep you alive.